It's a Christianity that has practically nothing to do with the traditional teachings of 2,000 years. It certainly has nothing to do with the Jesus of the Bible.
But I now recognize that Jesus actually taught me Christ consciousness.
One of the mistakes that human beings make is believing that there is only one way.
And I want us to think for a few minutes about principles of the New Age. I'm hoping that we can come to understand this New Age enough to recognize it and to help ourselves and others avoid it. And so we have to deal with its foundational principles a bit. On the one hand, New Age is very complicated and confusing. And if you really want to understand the New Age, you have to learn things like a noosphere, harmonized energy, impressive residue, soul of the world, duality, small I and universal I, potential self and empirical self, synergistic convergence, extrasensory fathers, holistic awareness, cosmic consciousness, chakras and mokshas and mandalas and pranas and asanas and auras and astral planes and antipathetic illusions and global interference patterns and dynamic holograms and Akashic records and omega points and alpha levels and Ayurveda and bioenergetics and scribing and apporting and attunement and psychokinesis and all kinds of stuff. But that's not what we're going to deal with. On the other hand, there are clearly defined foundational principles that the average person can understand, get a hold of. And that is, first of all, that God is everything and everything is God. That's the God of the New Age. It's not the transcendent God of the Bible that created all things, but is not the creation. New Age says that God is everything and everything is God. God is called the higher self and the higher power and the universal energy, the universal mind, the one supreme mind, the one consciousness. And according to the New Age, God is not separate from the creation. He is part of the creation. It's called monism or pantheism or panentheism. They say cosmos itself is divine, as is humanity. All is one and one is all, and we're all part of the collective. Second principle of the New Age is that man is God, or he has the capacity to become God and has the power within himself to be whatever he wants to be and to create his own reality. He's God. He can, like God created the world, man can create his own reality. Eric Butterworth, a unity preacher, said, God isn't up there. He exists inside every one of us, and it's up to us to see the divine within. Swami Muktananda, influential Hindu guru, he said, honor and worship your own being. God dwells within you as you. Which means that man can live as he pleases. If I'm God, I can do whatever I please. That's a prerogative of God. And so in a new book that is just sweeping across North America called The Secret, I bought a copy of it just recently in a secular bookstore in Kathmandu, Nepal. The author, Rhonda Byrne, says, welcome to the magic of life and the magnificence of you. That's the attraction. Only trouble with it is it's a lie. Man is God or has the capacity to be God and therefore can create his own reality and do whatever he pleases. Number 3, man is not a lost sinner. He is not estranged from God, and God is not a God of judgment. Therefore, guilt is not real and can be ignored. Guilt is something God has given us as a blessing to make us realize we're sinners and that we need forgiveness. But the New Ager says, yes, there's guilt, but it's not real. They call it a false self and different things. Robert Schuller, one of the most influential preachers in the world, said positive Christianity does not hold to human depravity, but to human inability. We just got to learn how to do things. But we're not depraved. We're not sinners, fallen sinners. The group of 1,000, the New Age group that's very influential today, even in politics, says that divinity does not judge, neither does it condemn or punish. That's what they say. Number 4, each individual is special and has entered the world for a unique foreordained purpose created by his past life experiences, reincarnation, and his evolutionary destiny. So they say you are special not because you're created by God, but because of your past lives and how you're progressing through your lives and how you've evolved. In the book Giving Thanks, M.J. Ryan, it says, it is essential that you develop the belief that you are here on earth to fulfill some purpose that only you can offer to the world. You need to find that purpose and fulfill it. Number 5, true wisdom and spiritual enlightenment is occultic. Means it's something that's secret that you have to find. It's not going to be found in a book like the Bible. No, the great mysteries of life can be found, they're esoteric and occultic. That means secret. And the New Age is a big religious buried treasure hunt. Gurus claiming to have discovered the lost map in places like Tibet or Egypt or Atlantis or Peru. So true wisdom of life is going to be found in some strange secret place. Number 6, mysticism is the most effective channel of spiritual enlightenment. How can I find my true purpose in life and the wisdom of life? Well, it's going to be found through mysticism. Mysticism says that our feelings and our experiences are superior to thinking and doctrine. And through meditation and visualization and such things, we can tap into the higher self and our divine self and draw that wisdom out of the universe. Mysticism, contemplation, yoga, meditation, chanting, self-hypnotism, mysticism. Another principle of the New Age is that thoughts and words have the power to change reality. Very important principle of the New Age. That words are not just sounds and things that have meaning, but they are creative powers. And thoughts. Deepak Chopra, you go in a bookstore and self-help sections, and Deepak Chopra's books are there. He's from India, he's a medical doctor, lives in America. And he says, learn to harness the power of intention, and you can create anything you desire. That's very attractive. You mean I can create whatever I want to with my thoughts? Maxwell Maltz, very popular, his books in the bookstores. He says, thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. Prentice Mulford said, every thought of yours is a real thing. It's a force. Marianne Williamson said, focused thought is a magic wand. You got your own magic wand just by learning to focus your thoughts. Rhonda Byrne in The Secret says that your thoughts are like Aladdin's genie. That's what they're promising. Thoughts and words have the power to change reality. Another principle of the New Age. Man can follow his own heart Deepak Chopra, says only the heart knows the correct answer to the great mysteries of life. Only the heart knows. The heart is intuitive. It's holistic. It taps into the cosmic computer. The heart has a computing ability that is far more accurate and far more precise than anything within the limits of rational thought. Deepak Chopra. Only the heart knows the correct answer. Follow your heart. Another principle of the New Age is that death is not to be feared. Eckhart Tolle, he invented his own name to be mystical. Eckhart Tolle, who's been promoted by Oprah Winfrey recently, says the most sacred thing in life is death. Death is only a form dissolving. Death is the opening into the dimension of the transcendent. Death is a wonderful thing, they say. It's just, don't fear it, just launch out into it. You're not going to face God in judgment there. There's no hell there. Death is not to be feared. Another principle of the New Age is that reincarnation is the process of man's evolutionary spiritual progress. Reincarnation is how we got here where we are and how we can go beyond. As man moves through the cycles of life, depending on his own karma and reacting and responding to his own karma. Reincarnation is a foundational principle of the New Age. If you find the New Age, you're going to find a belief in reincarnation and evolutionary progress. Another principle of the New Age is that Christ, what is Christ? We believe that it's Jesus. Jesus is Christ. Christ is Jesus, not in the New Age. Christ is not one person identified with the historical Jesus, but is an awareness or consciousness or a high evolutionary office or a spiritual presence or a cosmic principle that anyone can achieve. You can be Christ. I can be Christ. There are many Christs. Jesus himself, they say, learned how to be the Christ by going to Egypt and India and other places and learning from the gurus. Foundational principle of the New Age. Another one is that no religion can claim to be the only truth. No religion can claim to have the truth. They despise that very concept. John Carter, in his book, A Study in Syncretism, said, since no one religion is capable of meeting the challenge of modern times, so all religions must be merged into a universal brotherhood. That's one of the objectives of the United Nations, is also the unity of religions. And the United Nations has a meditation chapel. When the United Nations headquarters was first built in New York City in the 1950s, it was built with an interdenominational prayer chapel, Christian prayer chapel, financed by Christian businessmen such as J.C. Penney. And a few years later, Dag Hammarskjöld, the General Secretary, was a New Ager, a meditator. And he remodeled the prayer chapel and converted it into a New Age interfaith meditation room. He changed the shape of it, and now it's wedge-shaped. It's a very small room, but it's wedge-shaped. And in the front of the room that you're facing as you meditate or pray, there's a mural depicting the unity of all religions. Sort of has the different symbols of the religions sort of swirling and merging together. And in the center of the room, there's a huge slab of iron ore. Just a big black slab of iron ore that stands about that high. And there's one light shining down on that, hitting that iron ore. The light is hidden, recessed in the ceiling. And it's like this light is mysteriously coming through the ceiling, focused on the iron ore, and that is supposed to depict the unity of religions and the one God, that all religions worship the one God. And it's entirely a New Age meditation room at the heart of the United Nations. On the first floor when you first entered the building. It's open to the public. I saw it earlier this year in April. And that's at the heart of the New Age, is that no religion can claim to be the truth, and they all represent the truth in their own ways. Another principle of the New Age is that to attain world peace, justice, dogmatism, and negativity and separation must be rejected. They're not independent Baptists, folks. That to attain the world peace that everyone's looking for and longing for, and world justice, is going to require giving up religious dogmatism and any sort of negativity and preaching against others and separating from others on the basis of your doctrine. That has to be given up. Men must learn to live in harmony. The Dalai Lama said narrow-mindedness and self-centered thinking may have served us well in the past, but today it can only lead to disaster. We've got to get rid of this separatist dogmatism. Well, folks, that's us. That's me anyway. I'll speak for myself. You guys don't speak at all. Another principle of the New Age: the Savior that all religions are looking for is the same person. Buddhists are looking for a Buddhist Messiah. Hindus are looking for a Hindu Messiah. Muslims are looking for their Messiah. Christians are looking for the Messiah to return. But it's all the same person, they say. And he's going to appear to you, and he's going to unite mankind together and solve all of the world's problems. Alice Bailey, a very powerful, prominent New Age writer, said in her book, The Reappearance of Christ, he is the Maitreya and the Buddha and the Christ and the Imam Mahdi. That's what many of the Muslims are looking for, the Imam Mahdi, to come back. He's all of that in the one person. Another principle of the New Age, as we've already seen, is that the Bible has to be interpreted allegorically. And you have to find that deeper meaning of the Bible. Can't just interpret it literally. Theosophy interprets the building of Solomon's temple in the Old Testament. They say that depicts the evolution of man. Well, if you treat the Bible like that, you can make it say anything in the world. Levi Dowling wrote the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ, a book that powerfully influenced me when I was lost. The Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ. And he claimed that he received that message from the one mind of the universe, channeled to him. And he said that in Luke 22:10, there's a man bearing a pitcher there. And it was the preparation for the Lord's Supper, the Last Supper, in Luke 22. He said that is symbolic of the water bearer in astrology and the coming of the age of Aquarius. And that's the way they treat the Bible. So you can make the Bible say anything at all and nothing at all. Another principle of the New Age is that a one-world government is desirable, and pacifism and disarmament are necessary for world peace. Necessary for world peace. In 1955, Alice Bailey said, within the United Nations is the germ and seed of a great international meditating group of thinking, informed men and women in whose hands lie the destiny of humanity. And they say that the hope of man is a new Tower of Babel, the United Nations. One world government is what we need to create And the final principle of the New Age that I want you to understand is that the earth is our mother. It's called Gaia, old Greek goddess of the earth. And she must be revered and protected. Environmental movement. It's very radical. There are some that just want to, separate out their garbage, and that's okay, but it's hugely radical. Global warming. Buckminster Fuller came up with the idea of the spaceship Earth. We need to protect our Mother Earth, and I'm all for clean water and clean air. I live in Kathmandu, Nepal, and we don't have any of it. I'm not for foolishly just polluting the earth. But according to the Bible, the global warming we need to be concerned about the most is the one that's coming, described in 2 Peter chapter 3. The burning up of this universe. The preparation for the new heaven and the new earth. The earth is our mother. No, she's not. That's absolutely ridiculous. Saw a video, a little YouTube clip the other day, and these women were in a forest, weeping and crying for the trees. Weeping and crying for the trees. The pain that the trees must feel today.
And tell them that we love them and that we don't want them to die. That there are some people here who do care. So I want you to know that, trees, that we care.
I thank God for light. But that is the principles of the New Age. And they use techniques. I want to mention a couple of those. The first technique that the New Agers use is the power of positive thinking and visualization. I don't want to teach you how to do this stuff. I want you to understand when you hear some of this what it is. In 1903, Henry Wood wrote a book, The New Thought Simplified, and he said, with scientific accuracy, one may make himself what he will by thinking his thoughts into the right form. Thoughts are things. And they teach you how to create mental chambers in which you can create your own reality. The Silva's method calls it a mental screen. They teach you how to create a mental screen and work with that. Maxwell Maltz calls it the theater of the mind. Positive thinking. They teach you how to imagine conversations with the dead. Napoleon Hill. Many businessmen have been influenced by him, salesmen. Napoleon Hill. He himself visualized 9 famous men from history who became his advisors. He became extremely wealthy. And he had these 9 men from history that he would meet with in his mind and discuss things with and get advice from. And they actually took on a life of their own and communicated with him. And the Bible believer knows what that is. That's demons. People flirting with these things and playing with these things. Another technique of New Age is guided imagery. That is visualization, but you are guided by a leader through it. It goes on in public schools all the time, beginning way back in the 60s. For example, they had an education workshop, elementary kids in California, and the teacher taught them how to, they had the children lie down and relax. And then taught them to imagine bringing the sun down into their bodies, these little children. and using the power of the Son to fill themselves with perfect knowledge. In the public school system, guided imagery. That's what I was taught when I was messing around with Hinduism. How do you go back into your past lives? Well, you lie down and relax, and then someone who's guiding you tells you to imagine yourself coming out of your body. Imagine yourself standing on the roof of this building and looking down, and then they take you into your past lives, supposedly. Another technique of the New Age is positive confession, the power of your words. It's called affirmations and decrees. Their idea that words can change reality. Marianne Williamson's workbook, A Course in Miracles, suggests a different confession for every day of the year. It's a workbook that goes through the 365 days of the year. For lesson number 70, the confession is, my salvation comes from me. My salvation comes from me. Supposedly by chanting that and repeating that, that becomes reality. Well, that'll take you to hell. Another technique of the New Age is channeling. Channeling spirits. Another technique of the New Age is called transference, which is the transferring of spiritual energy by the laying on of hands. Big part of the New Age. Don't let people just touch you. I don't let charismatics touch me. And I'm not going to let New Agers touch me. Reiki. The practice of Reiki is huge. It's called a healing touch. But it's the transference of spirits and energy. Things happen when they do that. And then the technique of meditation is huge in the New Age. Meditation, which is putting yourself into a hypnotic trance, an altered state of consciousness there's many techniques. Saying mantras, focusing the mind on something like a picture or a burning candle, creating certain mental image, putting yourself in an altered state of consciousness, meditation, and then getting in touch with the higher powers and such, and spirits. Another technique of the New Age is hypnosis, a trance-like state, considered a door to another world. Well, it is. Reincarnationists and channelers use it. Hypnosis. And then regression therapy is another technique of the New Age. Regression therapy. And that is supposed recovery of past lives. They use hypnosis and many techniques, but dredging up past lives and then learning why you are like you are because of what happened in that other life. I was impressed. One of the reasons I joined the Self-Realization Fellowship Society was the stories they told me about these things and various things that happened when they did these things. One of the young people riding in that car with me, when I was hitchhiking from India, they told the story, two of the young people, they told the story of how that one of them had gone back into the past life through these techniques. And they had seen an island in detail, a certain little lake, a certain piece of property, had seen it in detail in their technique. And then after that, visited an island and saw those very things. Well, they could have been lying. But they also could have been telling the truth. The devil can do all kinds of fine things. You know, the devil did some amazing miracles in the book of Exodus. Made a snake. Made a rod into a snake. Now that's a great miracle. That would impress just about anybody. You throw a rod down and it becomes an actual writhing snake. But it was the power of the devil. New Age principles and New Age techniques, we need to understand a little bit about this and these things so that we can protect ourselves and protect our children and protect our grandchildren. I'm very concerned about my grandchildren. Very concerned. One emerging church leader in the New Age emerging church, it's all flowing together. Brian McLaren recently said, just this year, he boldly said, he said, I realize we can't get into a lot of churches. A lot of churches reject us. They think we're radical. They think we're heretics. But he said, I'm not concerned about that. We have the internet. We have literature. We have books. We have audio. We have video. We're going to reach their grandchildren. Not if I can help it. God bless you, Pastor.